Ah, Christmas, the most wonderful time of the year, and filled with traditions revolving around films.
Whether it's watching Elf on the Loop, constantly debating whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not, doing the exact same thing with Nightmare Before Christmas, or choosing this Nightmare Fuel live-action adaptation over the original, which is filled with, I think, some people's actual sleep paralysis demons.
There's a film that everyone can relate to when it comes to the holiday season.
Although, there's one in particular I was never able to fully understand why it was so popular.
AKA the horror holiday movie of the day. The other one, none other than The Polar Express.
The Polar Express is a 2004 motion capture animated horror movie directed by Robert Zemeckis, released in the Halloween spooky season for some reason.
Yeah, actually no, that makes sense.
It's a fan favorite Christmas movie with pretty mediocre reviews and a mediocre box office compared to its pretty expensive budget. Now, again, I completely acknowledge the fact that some people love this movie. If you grew up watching it and heard this beautiful score all the time, I'm sure it's very nostalgic.
However, I can't relate to that because I did the exact opposite of grow up with it.
Yeah, this movie has always had a weird vibe to me. From what I remember, it's just really unsettling and extremely uncanny valley, although it has been a while.
So, maybe there's a chance that all these years later it actually looks better. I can't even finish that.
However, if anything, I do want to try and understand what I was missing all those years ago, and see what people found so magical in this movie set during the most magical time of the year.
So, without further ado,
let's confront those childhood nightmares, hop aboard that train, figure out whatever the heck is going on here,
and experience the Polar Express. Why am I doing this?
So the movie starts out with the title and a breathtaking winter aesthetic, accompanied by a beautiful and iconic song.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good start, nothing too bad.
What? The what?
So, my eyes are correct.
Yeah, so, what?
I mean, jeez, they all got Kmart versus Sims characters. Even Joker would beg for his life if he saw that.
In fact, what are even the points of interrogation rooms anymore? Just pop in a clip of Polar Express and I'll tell you everything I know.
And back to the Kmart Sims comparison, those work fine because you mostly see them from a distance. But here, that's all you see. And they look just real enough to where it's creepy. And now, I have done another movie like this before, being The Adventures of Tintin. And that movie used the exact same technique of motion capture as this one. Although, with that, I didn't have a problem with it because it was newer and more well done. Here, you can really tell that they were trying to show off this new technology, which is fine. There have been many movies in the past that were trying to show off new, groundbreaking effects, and those all worked. But here, at least in my opinion, they don't do it well enough. And to get down to exactly why it feels so creepy, we have to analyze the face more.
Which, I hate to show that face again, but I guess for science, here it is.
Okay, why am I watching this? So, just look at it. Is there something in there that just feels off? And if you're anything like me, then the first thing you notice are the eyes. And I know exactly why.
First off, eyes are the hardest thing to get right when animating a character, more specifically a human.
That's why in many cartoons, they exaggerate them so they can look cuter and not as realistic. Because the more realistic you make them, especially if they're done poorly, the more they just stare into your soul. So I did some research and found out that when making this movie, they used the motion capture of the faces, but had to animate the eyes separately.
Now, I get it. It was 2004.
I mean, the meme "hello there" wasn't even a thing yet, so it was a long time ago.
Although, who thought this would be a good idea?
But, okay, it's just the beginning of the movie, so maybe it can actually get better.
Sorry. I couldn't even get it out.
Anyways, after whatever that was, the main character wakes up, named Hero Boy.
This is one of those movies, isn't it?
But I guess his name just matches his personality.
In that they forgot to give him either of those.
So, Hero Boy wakes up. Sorry, there's no way I'm calling him that. I mean, since his character has about the same personality as a literal wooden plank, let's just go with Plank. Okay, so Plank walks down the stairs anticipating Santa's arrival, I think. Because apparently in the very next scene, we get exposition from his sister saying Plank doesn't believe in Santa.
Uh-huh. Kinda strange.
It looks like he not only believes in him, but is excited about him.
But, okay.
Anyway, Plank hops back in bed, and his parents come walking in.
That would be sad if that were true.
An end of the magic.
That's not even whispering, they're just talking loudly in a whispery voice.
In fact, I think I'd be more concerned if he was able to sleep through that.
But anyway, his dad is played by Tom Hanks, and yes, you're gonna get sick of me saying that by the end of the movie. Jeez, how many close-ups of the eyes are we going to get? They're really pushing that G rating. But anyway, Plank's room starts to violently shake as he comes across a giant train, aka the Polar Express. And I really do like how ominous it looks in the snow.
I mean, it just makes it feel more like a horror movie, but it does look good.
So Plank comes across the conductor, played by Tom Hanks. Again, the conductor throws more exposition at him about how he doesn't believe in Santa. Would have been great to see that. But then Woody tries to convince him to come on the train. And just like any kid would hopefully do, he follows stranger danger rules. Until he doesn't, and makes a huge character-altering decision to get onto the train, I think. I don't know, his face is hardly even shown in the frame when he makes it, and he just looks the exact same as he always does. So remember, kids, when a complete stranger tells you to get in his vehicle to go see Santa Claus, you apparently do it. Please don't. So Plank comes across a bunch of other kids that seem to have way more personality than he does, including... jeez.
Hey you, yeah you. Do you know what kind of train this is? It's a Baldwin 284 S3 class Berkshire type steam.
So, yeah. Obviously they were going for a character that is annoying.
But does that make it better?
I mean, just because Anakin is supposed to be socially awkward doesn't make this line any more... I don't even know what to call it.
I don't like sand. It's coarse.
So they pick up another kid named Billy.
How come he has a name, but no one else? Forget it.
So we get a dance number about hot chocolate out of nowhere, which is actually pretty impressive in this tight of space, as long as you don't look into their eyes. Also, it is kind of out of character of the strict Woody conductor. And hey, maybe Plank is actually a wooden plank after all, because there's no way he would be able to chug that hot chocolate without Thanos stopping his taste buds away. So, Hero Girl goes to take the hot chocolate to Billy. And I will say, out of all the characters, I like hers the best. Even if her animation is the most, how do I say this slightly horrifying? She does have a very likable and adventurous character to her, which I do like. When she goes to Billy, Plank then does probably the second stupidest thing I've ever seen in film.
Which is still not even close to the first.
But for some otherworldly reason, get this, Plank thinks it's a good idea to get to her by jumping in between two cars of a moving train, even though he literally could have just held onto it until she came back. Are you kidding me?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 stupidest people.
But then, the stupidity doesn't even end there. We get a whole 1-minute sequence of the ticket just magically coming back, because, magic. I don't know. And like, yeah, I get it, you're trying to show off this new animation. It just feels very out of place, and all the tension with the ticket just feels so artificial because it all happened from one contrived reason. Woody asks where Hero Girl's ticket is, and Plank confesses that he accidentally dropped it out of the train. Then, because she has no ticket, the no-wait-all, no, that's actually his name, says that he is going to drop her out of the moving train. What is this movie? I mean, jeez, just 5 minutes ago they were laughing and having a good time, and now we're talking about straight up murder. So then he has to become Spider-Man and walk on top of the moving train while walking atop slick snow. So obviously by now, it's pretty obvious that this is all a dream, and completely overlooking the fact that all tension was already artificial and contrived, now it just makes it feel even less meaningful. It still looks really intense and interesting, and the sound design is extremely impressive, but it just kind of takes away from the stakes. And it's not like movies that involve dreams can't be intense, but it just depends on if you do it the right way. So Plank comes across, Hobo, who seems like a free-spirited person that doesn't believe in all this magical stuff. He's also played by Tom Hanks, and you can really see how they symbolize the two supposed sides of Plank. One that believes in Santa, and the other who doesn't. Again, this is just based on what they tell us. We haven't actually seen anything. So, another contrived thing. Woody tells Hero Girl to tell Dumb and Dumber to stop the train, but then immediately gives up and risks the lives of everyone on the train just because they can't hear her. Are you kidding me?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 stupidest people.
Why did you ask the kid to do it and not use your actual voice that has gravitas? This is the same dude who screams, "You are a toy!" And he can't make eye contact with the people right behind him. What is this movie? So we get more intense action, which looks great. It really doesn't mean a whole lot now that we know it's all fake. So Woody just starts Tokyo drifting everywhere until we get this scene. What?
Yeah, I don't even know anymore.
So somehow all the kids survived that Tokyo drift, and
Hey, you missed it. We rode down some really sharp hills, and then we were on what looked like a frozen lake, but I know...
why does Plank always look like he smells some onion rings and is trying to decide if it's good or bad? Okay, Billy and Hero Girl start singing, and surprisingly, it is actually a pretty good song, even if it is kind of random. So they finally make it to the North Pole, and... While Billy doesn't want to go, because...
Christmas just doesn't work out for me.
And just in that one sentence of dialogue, he is already far more compelling than anything they tried to do with Plank.
Which begs the question, why even have Plank in this movie?
Could you imagine if they focused on Billy's character? Someone who strives for the holiday season, even though from where he comes from, it just doesn't work out? We could have really dived deep into his childhood and home life. You can still have the whole believe message and everything, and the song together would have been so much more emotional and memorable if these two characters were the sole focus. But no, we have to try and throw in Plank here, who now all of a sudden seems to like Christmas, even though he hasn't learned that lesson yet.
Look, I don't know if Christmas is gonna work out for you or not, but this is Christmas Eve.
I don't even know anymore. Just keep going.
They accidentally get lost in the train and have to parkour to get back to everyone else. Hero Girl claims to hear a bell, but Plank doesn't and doubts her.
So, which is it? Does he like Christmas or does he not?
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
I really don't know what the point of that was, but back to the movie.
So the movie decides to take He Sees You When You're Sleeping literally. Seriously, where did they even put the cameras watching them? We get some more fast-paced action as Billy tries to hold on to the present meant for him, really showing his deep strive for happiness, and he wants to partake in the holiday just as much as everyone else, even if he has a hard time believing in it, because it just doesn't work out where he comes from. Seriously, why is Plank the main character? So anyway, wait, what? So after Plank is finally able to hear the bell or something...
And you, young lady. Lady of decision.
What in the Wizard of Oz is going on here?
I see you've made some new friends.
Yes, sir. I sure have.
Has he even ever spoken a word to Plank?
So even though I really think it should have been Billy, Plank is the one that gets the first gift of Christmas, which is none other than the bell. On the way back to everyone's houses, we see Billy get off and finally get the present he was trying to open before. Although we have to wrap up Plank's story, I guess, as he goes back home.
One thing about trains, it doesn't matter where they're going. What matters is deciding to get on.
Actually, I think it does matter.
But he wakes up on Christmas morning, and the line is kind of blurred on dream and reality, which I really appreciate. It's never fully made clear if it ever happened, but that's because it doesn't really matter. All that does is that he can now hear the bell, something his parents cannot, because he was simply able to believe. It's honestly a beautiful ending compared to the mediocre whatever that came before it, and something that I genuinely wasn't expecting that would keep me thinking like this.
So that was the Polar Express, and I kind of get it.
Obviously, the animation of the characters is nightmare fuel. Nothing will ever change that. But if I can look past that, then I do see a movie with some really strong messages about the holiday season. Even though the characters range from good to potentially good to meh to why do you even exist, it's helped out just by the heartfelt score and theme of believing. And also, this movie does have a beautiful winter aesthetic. I can see how this would be a perfect movie to watch next to the Christmas tree with some family, fully taking in the holiday. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Is it my personal favorite Christmas movie? Far from it. Will I ever watch it again? I honestly hope not. But like I said at the beginning of this video, there's a movie for all of us when it comes to the most wonderful time of the year. So who am I to decide which one means the most to you?
Man, that's really about it. From the bottom of my heart, happy holidays. Make it a good one. And I'll see you guys next year. Stay awesome, y'all.